I know you're playing like different parts in the cosmic chessboard, so to say, as do I. But when you look at your own understanding of what serves best the process of people, how has your own approach changed over the last years?
Oh, it's changed tremendously, beautifully, I think. If you embrace the idea that we continue to learn forever, which isn't really part of the psychedelic renaissance, it's kind of more from the Eastern philosophical side. So if you kind of embrace this forever learning, forever growing, you can reach different states along the way, but they continue to evolve. It gives you this capacity to accept sort of evolutionary creativity, that you're always going to be evolving and growing. And in our case, I took the time that COVID brought to us, which was the first interruption in our work in 19 years, as an opportunity to step away from the space a little bit and have that time to go inward and really reflect on everything that had changed during the period of time. And I was actually shocked. There were so many pieces that I discovered that I had missed along the way, just in the daily flow of work, life, and support of the community, that you just don't even see. Part of it was just the tremendous expansion and growth that had taken place globally, because we were kind of myopically focused just on our own work, and we weren't seeing the massive expansion of this everywhere else. It led me to an opportunity to really reflect on everything that we do and the way that we do it. And I support the idea of taking a life inventory where you're just completely honest. There's no color to what you're describing. You just put it down in a list and categorize it and just make an entire inventory of everything, about every detail about how you do this work, and how you share this work, and how you show up for the work, and how you build the container around it, so much on the side of logistics and location and lodging, to the actual ceremonies themselves and the preparation of the medicines. And I actually decided to improve every aspect of it. So every place where we saw conflict, or every place where we had made compromises over the years, I looked to see if we could actually improve upon that, so that we could be more impactful, so that we could be more beneficial, and that we could ultimately support the people who participate with us in a deeper way. And that brought a number of different tweaks. For instance, for 20 years, I only worked with one kind of ayahuasca that we would create ourselves. It was sort of our brew. It was the Blue Morpho brew. And now I'm working with 4. So in that process, I actually discovered 3 other recipes to use. I have one that I call light, because some people just don't need such an intense ayahuasca. We were known as having a very, very intense brew. So now I have one called light. I have one called breakthrough, which, for people who find that they're stagnant in their energy and it's hard for them to get into the ecstatic state and into the visionary state, it actually causes that breakthrough. I have one called integration, that doesn't produce vision. So when somebody has had a very intense visionary night, they don't need to go through that again. They need a way to integrate and process it. And I think this is much more effective than having to just drink a drop of ayahuasca, or less than a teaspoon, and just basically sit there in ceremony and meditate. This recipe allows for people to know they're not going to go into the visionary state with it, but they are going to be able to go into the trance. They are going to be able to get the benefit from the ayahuasca itself, and they're going to be able to navigate it with a tremendous amount of more comfort and capacities. And so all of that came through this inventory of really thinking about how we could bring greater sophistication and precision to the work that we're doing, how we could make it just better for everybody. I wanted the container to be even stronger. We held a very strong container and worked on it for many, many years. And so I actually, I saw that over the years, our container had shifted a little bit. The culture around our work had shifted a little bit, which is natural, that people, as they come and become part of the community, also share and shift the culture. And so I actually brought back some of the elements that I used back in 2004, 2005, 2006. It led to a tremendous transformation in the cohesion for everybody in the room. I started bringing back not just the individual journey, but the collective journey, and really making the collective journey a focal point for everybody. So not everybody getting in the individual aspects of the experience for each other, but getting into the collective idea, like each person has a role in the collective, and we're all together. And it's not so hierarchical in the room, and we're all there supporting it. And I'm guiding that for everybody, kind of like a great orchestra. So I'm functioning as a maestro of the orchestra of the entire ceremony for everybody, not just of the plants, and teaching people how to be able to, in very short number of ceremonies, become responsible for themselves in the room, as well as helping hold that collective space. That led to a breakthrough experience I had actually never had. And the last retreat, it was really amazing, where the ceremony got a little chaotic because people were complaining that it was actually so cohesive. They wanted a little more of what they had heard about, like where things get kind of really intense. And so I brought it up to that level of intensity. And normally at that point, there's a lot more purging, and there's a kind of, some just more agitation can come up. And normally you would have to just let that naturally progress down over a course of a couple hours. In this case, we were actually able to literally stop the ceremony, collectively reset. Everybody turned down the fear that they were creating. Everybody turned down the chaos and agitation collectively. Everybody was able to go back into a reset of the ceremony itself. And that night we literally had 2 ceremonies. We had the one to fulfill what they were looking for, and then we were actually able to start the ceremony over and have the one that I wanted to hold for everybody, which was ultimately much deeper and healing. So they got to have both experiences. That's unheard of, that I know of, to be able to actually have that kind of reset take place, at least in our work. And so that was all evolution and benefit to what we've done over the last years.